Hello, fifth graders. I am back with chapter 37 from our book, Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus. If you remember from yesterday, Avon was hanging out with, I forgot his name, Connor. Avon was hanging out with Connor again, and they kind of made up after they got in a fight a few chapters ago, so we'll see. We have a couple chapters left. Chapter 37. The morning of the festival, I woke up before it was light out. I had so much to do, and I couldn't wait to get started. The first thing I did was sit down at my computer and write a blog post. Come to Stagecoach Pass today for our festival. We'll have good food and art and fireworks. It will be the most fun you've had since the last time you had a lot of fun. I was frustrated for the first time in a long time at how long it took me to get my jeans on. In my excitement, I kept missing the button with my hook. But I eventually got it, and I rushed out of the apartment and downstairs. Mom and Dad were already up and out in the park, making sure everything was in order. When Mom saw me, she said, "Get back upstairs and eat some breakfast." "I did," I said. "Liar," she said back. I made my way to the petting zoo to visit Spaghetti. I petted him with my foot, and I whispered to him, "It's going to be a busy day." He lifted his head and looked at me lazily, and then laid it back down like he was saying, "Maybe for you." I walked around Stagecoach Pass all morning, trying to be useful, running errands for everyone and delivering messages and making phone calls. By 9 o'clock, I was lightheaded with hunger, so I sat down with Josephine in the kitchen of the steakhouse and I ate a bowl of beans. "Today's your big day," she said. I scooped a mouthful of beans carefully into my mouth, holding the spoon with my toes. "I forgot to ask you something," I said. "What's that?" "I found an old necklace up on the hill. It's silver with a turquoise stone in it." "Was that still up there?" "We released Avon's ashes at the top of that hill. That was her favorite necklace, so I hung on to it like a little wooden cross. I figured it would be long gone by now, probably washed away in a monsoon. Could I see that necklace sometime?" "Sure." I put down my spoon and pushed the bowl away from me. "I better get going." I left the kitchen, hoping the awkward feeling I got around Josephine would go away. In time. I walked outside and was disappointed to find that people weren't already pouring in at the entrance, and more disappointed that Connor wasn't out there. Around 10 o'clock, a few people trickled in. As the morning wore on, the trickle became a steady flow. The flapjackaroos started playing on the newly cleaned stage around noon. I had no idea what to expect of breakfast entertainers, but they weren't bad. And except for a song about bacon or eggs, Benedict thrown in here and there, they mostly played normal country music. By late afternoon, the parking lot was fuller than it had ever been. I wandered around, enjoying the festivities and talking to the vendors about their art. I found Zion, and we ate an obscene amount of junk food together in the rodeo arena. He was normally so strict about what he ate, so I was glad to see him relax a bit about that. We watched the large group of kids in the petting zoo. Some of them even gave Spaghetti a little attention, though he didn't seem to care much. I introduced Zion to Josephine and Henry, shot a rubber snake at the shooting range, and even stuck my face through a wooden painting of a cactus so that Zion could take a picture. Everywhere I went, I looked for Connor. At 6 o'clock, I left Zion and made my way into the apartment to get changed for the evening events. Mom and I had gone shopping together the day before to pick out a new dress for the festival, and she had laid it out on my bed for me, perhaps worried I might pick something else to wear at the last minute. With a thumping heart, I carefully slipped the dress over my head and shimmied it down, tugging at the bottom with my toes. It took me a few minutes to get it all straightened and smoothed out. I stood up and looked at myself in the mirror over my dresser. Mom walked up from behind and put her arms around me. "I like this look on you," she said, "but it's missing something." She pulled a necklace out of her pocket and placed it around my neck. It was the turquoise necklace. I could see that she had it cleaned and replaced the chain. "It looks beautiful with your pink dress." "Thanks, Mom. That was very sweet of you to do this for me. You know, this was Avon's favorite necklace." "Was it? Well, then it's extra special, isn't it?" She squeezed my shoulder. I gazed at myself in the mirror, wondering if I was really going to go out in front of other people looking like this. "You know," Mom said, "I heard there are a lot of people out there who came today because of your blog." I looked up at her. "My blog?" "Yep, they said they love it." "I don't know why. I don't have anything very interesting to say." Mom cupped my cheeks in her hands. "You, Avon Green, are the most interesting person I know." And she kissed me on the nose. As I walked toward the door, she said, "Would you like a sweater, Avon? It might get a little chilly tonight." I shook my head. My shoulders have been covered long enough. They need to breathe. She walked to me, slipped a finger under one of my spaghetti straps, and snapped it. Yes, they do. The sky looked like cotton candy as I made my way downstairs. I loved all of the sounds and smells of the festival. Corn dogs and kettle corn and chili corn and funnel cakes. Walking over to the Flapjackaroos, I ran into Jessica and a large group of girls from soccer. You guys came, I said, smiling hugely. This is great, Avon, Jessica said, and you look amazing. Thanks, I blushed at the compliment. You should come watch the music. As they walked behind me, I spotted Zion sitting at a table by himself, munching on a box of popcorn. I walked in with the girls, over to him and introduced them. He mumbled a hello to the girls and stared back at his feet, and he tried to hide his popcorn behind his back. I made my way to the stage and stood at the bottom of the steps. When the lead singer of the Flapjackaroos saw me, he told the audience that they had a special accompaniment, and I walked up the stairs to join them. He placed my guitar in front of a chair on the stage for me, and I sat down, but it wasn't my guitar. It was the guitar that we had found in the storage room hidden under the old desk. It was the guitar that had belonged to my mother. It had been cleaned, repaired, and restrung. I looked out into the audience and saw my parents watching me. Mom put her fingers to her mouth and blew me a kiss. I slipped my feet out of my flowery flats and carefully plucked at a string with one not quite so steady toe. We played Tumbling Tumbleweeds, which I had been feverishly practicing all week, even though my part was quite simple. A large audience formed to watch as we played, and I saw that all of their eyes were on me. Me in a strappy pink dress. Me in my mother's necklace, playing my mother's guitar. Me with the terribly flushed cheeks, beaming as the lead singer winked at me while we played. I looked out into the crowd and I saw Jessica and the other girls watching me with excited faces. I saw Zion smiling and waving, and I nodded back. I saw my parents, arms around each other, swaying to the music. I saw Josephine watching me from the very back of the crowd. She had a painful look on her face, and I wondered if she was thinking about her daughter. I tried to imagine how hard it would have been for a woman who had been in her position, having just lost her only daughter, already getting on in years, as she said. I thought about what Connor had said. She probably truly believed she was doing the best thing for me. So I decided maybe I would visit her at the Golden Sunset Retirement Home when she left. Maybe we could share a meal of mediocre cafeteria food. Maybe swim in a pool full of old people. I smiled at her, and the painful look on her face seemed to dissolve. And then, right in the center of the crowd, slowly making his way to the front, I saw Connor. He wasn't ticking, even though he was completely surrounded by people. He looked totally at peace while I played. When the song ended and the audience clapped for us, I stood and took a bow. The lead singer pointed at me and clapped, causing the audience to clap louder, and so I bowed again. I ran off the stage and straight into Connor at the bottom of the stairs. I felt exuberant and full of energy that I couldn't contain. "Come on," I said to him. "The fireworks are starting soon." We ran away from the stage and found Zion toward the back of the crowd. He joined us as we ran past the gold mine, overseen by a new man named Ramiro who did not hate children. There were lots of little kids, and they were aggressively focused on finding real Stagecoach Pass gold. We took the trail out to the desert, and the three of us made our way to the top of the mighty hill, lit at this point only by the light of the full, shining moon. We were almost at the top when I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I stopped and stared at the ground just in time to see what looked like a monstrous spider scurry into a hole. Connor turned around. "What?" My heart beat rapidly, from the performance, running up the hill, and from whatever it was that I might have just seen. I thought I saw something. "Tell us about it later," Connor said. "We need to hurry." When we got to the top of the hill, I sat down beside my Saguro, and Connor sat beside me, and Zion sat beside him. "I knew you'd come," I said to Connor. He laughed. "I didn't even know I would until about an hour ago." He looked at me in the moonlight, blinking his eyes. "But I'm really glad I did." And he let out a bark. "Me too," Zion and I both said at the same time. Connor looked down at the city lights. "You spend a lot of time up here, don't you?" Yeah, I do. I come up here when I need to think or be alone. Up here I can see things clearly." "What do you see?" Connor asked. I looked down at Stagecoach Pass and then back at Connor and Zion. "I see two of the best friends I've ever had." Zion smiled, his white teeth gleaming in the moonlight. "So I'm glad we came here," I said. And I'm glad for everything that's happened, because if it hadn't, I wouldn't know either of you, and I'm really glad I know you. Connor's hazel eyes flashed from the very first firework. I'm glad I know you too, Avon. Me too, Zion said. As the fireworks exploded over the lights of the city, millions of lights for millions of people, I didn't feel so insignificant anymore. I felt as big as the giant cactus beside me. I felt like I was shining, and this time, I thought, maybe it wasn't just the moon. Maybe the light was in me. So we have one chapter left. What a change of attitude Avon is having. I wonder if she feels like dancing in this chapter. So we'll sign in tomorrow and we'll finish this book.